Impeachment? Well, I would say not.
What the hell is...
We're going to take a look at it. We're going...
Well... At the forefront of politics.
Our enemy is Trump. He is the enemy. We got to unite. If we're not a united party, we lose to Trump.
On the front lines of activism.
There's certain fights. If we don't engage, they win. This is a fundamental question of who we are.
And delivering your daily dose of comedy.
Donald Trump, when he had his physical, they had his blood pressure, and mine is higher than his. Oh. And the irony is mine is higher because of him.
From the blue wave.
We flipped. Enough seats to take control of the House. We control the House.
To 2020 and beyond. This is the Dean Obeidallah Show on Sirius XM Progress, Channel 127.
And welcome to the show, brothers and sisters. Monday, October 14th. I'm Dean Obeidallah. As always, the neediest Muslim you'll ever meet. Want to be your MBFF? I'm there on Twitter. Drop me an email, dean@deanofradio.com. I hope you had a great weekend. Hope you had some fun. Relax, perhaps, if that's even possible in the time of Trump. And before we get into the news, and there's a lot to cover tonight, just like every night, there's a lot to cover. Here's some Weekend Update with Colin Jost, and this is a clip of Trump at his campaign rally. This is real. I mean, you don't even need a joke after it. This is exactly what happened. Here's clip number one.
And how is Donald Trump handling impeachment? Well, I would say not great, based on what he did at his emotional support rally on Thursday. This is an actual headline about the rally. Trump appears to do bizarre impression of FBI agents having sex. And I thought, well, that's got to be an exaggeration, right? Then I saw the clip.
I love you, Peter. I love you too, Lisa. Lisa, I love you. Lisa. Oh, God, I love you, Lisa.
First of all, he's killing. Like, the audience loves it to the point I'm actually jealous. That rally was like Showtime at the Apollo, except, opposite.
Funny joke. Opposite. We know why. And tomorrow, I'm going to predict Donald Trump will freak out even more for two reasons. One is Hunter Biden, Joe Biden's son. He's going to be on Good Morning America and a bunch of other ABC shows, but beginning early, and Trump will be tweeting about that. Second, there's the Democratic debate tomorrow night. And third, I forgot, although we won't be able to see this, but if all goes as planned, and we don't know for sure, but Ambassador Gordon Sondland will be testifying tomorrow. And he's the guy who bought his ambassadorship by giving $1 million to Donald Trump's inaugural committee. And first of all, that's legal. And right off the bat, there's something fundamentally wrong with our system when you can give $1 million to the president-elect, and that's legal. Okay, first, but that was legal. The illegal part is what went on in the Ukraine, and we're not exactly sure what he's going to say. There was a lot of reporting over the weekend and what he might say. We'll wait till tomorrow. We'll at least get an opening statement, even though we won't get to see it, and we'll break it down tomorrow night. But and later in the show, we're going to have on a lot of great people we have on tonight, and Tara Dardell and Danny Savalas will be here at different times. But we're going to talk about the shooting in Fort Worth, Texas, of a 28-year-old woman, Miss Jefferson, just in her house babysitting and murdered in her house by a police officer. You know, if you're black in this country and you can't be safe in your own home watching TV, where can you be safe? And we're going to break it down from a legal point of view with Danny and Taro and a much more human point of view. Even I interviewed Tom Steyer. I interviewed him a short time before the show, and we talked about that as well. We'll play that later in the show with Tom, talking about that issue and a lot more. And Tom had some great points on race and about the need to have a discussion on race as a national debate with the Democratic candidates. And I'm all for that. I'm all for discussing race in this country because we'll never have that conversation because it makes too many people uncomfortable. And when I say people uncomfortable, I mean white people uncomfortable. That's the truth. But we'll talk about that later. I want to talk about an issue that is not getting a lot of press. We touched on it Friday, and Donald Trump's corruption and criminality is so in our face in so many big issues. There's sometimes small issues that I think should be investigated by Congress and, in fact, could be a crime. And I say that objectively. It could be a crime. Might not be, but it could be a crime. At the very least, it requires the House Oversight Committee to look into this. And what I'm talking about has to do with Fox News and this secret meeting that took place Wednesday night. We found out about it on Friday. It had nothing to do with Shep Smith getting let go. Not that we know of. Let's put it that way. But we know that Bill Barr, the Attorney General, met with Rupert Murdoch, the guy who runs Fox News. And New York Times reported it. And not only did they meet, Bill Barr traveled from Washington, D.C. to Rupert Murdoch's house in New York. And you might say, well, what'd they talk about? I mean, he's the attorney, because it was reporting today in the New York Times on their front page that Donald Trump in late summer, just in late August, was so outraged by Fox News' coverage then, and we didn't know about this until today, that he called Fox News CEO Suzanne Scott and lashed out against her for the negative coverage, lengthy conversation apparently, saying it wasn't fair what was going on and wanted to change. And she said, I'll try to make some changes apparently and try to offer like an interview with Brett Baer. Come on in, sit down, we'll take care of you, all that stuff. Well, apparently it didn't go well. Things have not changed at Fox News because Trump, I'm speculating this will go through, sent Bill Barr, possibly at taxpayer expense, to fly from Washington to Rupert Murdoch's home in New York to discuss coverage. And I'm not sure, but that's why you have committee hearings. We had Congressman Harley Rhoda on Friday. He's on the Oversight Committee. And I asked him point blank about this meeting. And is he troubled by it? And here is his great response. Clip number 2, please.
What the hell is the Attorney General of the United States doing meeting with with Fox, with the head of Fox? And for what purpose could that possibly be, especially in light of the fact this is happening exactly at the same time the President of the United States is saying Fox News isn't being kind enough to him.
And I was so thankful that Congressman Rhoda was that outspoken and that direct and very blunt. In fact, that clip got picked up by a bunch of media outlets over the weekend, and they even played it on MSNBC and trying to bring this issue to light more. And there's a question here. There's a fundamental question about the use of the government. And Donald Trump thinking this government works for him, not for the people. And the Attorney General's job, let's be clear. Let's go to the source. On the actual website of the Department of Justice, it says the Attorney General is the chief law enforcement officer of the federal government. Add to that, Bill Barr testified in May before Congress about his job. He said, quote, "I'm in the business of determining whether a crime has been committed." That's his job. Chief law enforcement, determinant of crime. Why would that guy travel from Washington, D.C. to Rupert Murdoch's home in New York? Now, if it's about criminality and actual investigation, why would you not send FBI agents? Why would Bill Barr go? So is there an investigation of crime going on involving Fox News? I'm not suggesting there is. It doesn't seem plausible to me that he was actually there because of a criminal investigation. Because again, he could send FBI agents. And why would you go on a Wednesday night to the guy's home? If it's a criminal investigation, you tend to call the suspect or people with knowledge in, or at least meet them in the FBI New York office. You don't go to the guy's house. There's no house calls by the FBI unless they're investigating you or unless they're doing something else. You know, as Congressman Rhoda pointed out, the timing of this meeting is very suspicious. And that was before we knew about today's reporting, that Donald Trump in late August called up and slammed the CEO of Fox News, demanding better coverage. That's what he was doing. He was demanding better coverage. And since mid-August, Donald Trump has been lashing out publicly. Fox News, he told reporters in mid-August, "Fox has changed. My worst polls have always been from Fox. There's something going on at Fox. I'll tell you right now, and I'm not happy with it." He followed up with numerous tweets, Donald Trump, slamming Fox News over the months, calling it the new Fox News, and slamming them for having the DNC communications director on, saying, Trump said in response, "We have to start looking for a new news outlet. Fox isn't working for us anymore." And in late September, just a few weeks ago, Trump went crazy attacking Ann Henry, who's one of the on-air people there, for simply asking a question of a guest if it was okay for Trump in his July 25th phone call with the Ukrainian president. Was it okay, quote, to dig up dirt on former Vice President Joe Biden and his son? That alone drove Trump crazy. So here's the legal part of this. Here's the potential crimes involved. And that's why this is important. This is not just, the boss sending someone to go talk to someone about getting better coverage. This is using government assets. This is using your dollars, my dollars, our taxpayer dollars to try to get better media coverage. And right off the bat, that would be abuse of power. If Donald Trump sent Bill Barr, the Attorney General, the chief law enforcement officer, to meet with the head of Fox News in New York at taxpayer dollars, just to get better coverage for the 2020 election, that is the very definition of abuse of power. That would be another article of impeachment right there. Bill Barr may have committed crimes as well. The idea of the Hatch Act, it applies to Bill Barr. There's no exception for him, only the president. You cannot engage in partisan political activity while working in the government. Also, a violation of federal law but prohibits the use of governmental resources for, quote, personal benefit or for the benefit of others. That applies to Trump as well. Trump may have violated that. Bill Barr may have violated that. And you know what? In the normal scope of things, you wouldn't think that the sitting attorney general may have traveled hundreds of miles at taxpayers' expense simply to get better media coverage for the president. But these aren't normal times. And Donald Trump and Bill Barr are not normal president nor a normal attorney general. Both have a track record of, especially Trump, of disregard for the law. And Bill Barr as a safeguard for Donald Trump. I mean, Donald Trump talked about he wanted where's my Roy Cohen, slamming Jeff Sessions, his then attorney general. Well, he's got him here in Bill Barr. It's a reminder. This is how Trump views Bill Barr. This is how Donald Trump views the attorney general. We saw it in the July 25th phone call. Donald Trump released what was a summary, not a transcript. And in that, he talked about, to the Ukrainian President Zelensky, look into Joe Biden's son and Biden's actions from 2016. And who did he say is going to call him and talk about that? Rudy Giuliani and Bill Barr. He kept mentioning Rudy Giuliani and Bill Barr over and over and over in that conversation they talked to Zelensky. It's clear to me that Donald Trump views Rudy Giuliani, his personal lawyer, and Bill Barr, the chief law enforcement officer of the United States of America, as one and the same. They're interchangeable. Their jobs are to protect Donald Trump. And in the case of Rudy, that's fine. He's a paid personal counsel. He can do what he wants. The case of the attorney general, that's improper. That's an improper use of resources. And we also know that Bill Barr has done everything he could to protect Donald Trump. I mean, after the Mueller report came out, we all remember the Mueller report gets submitted, and then Bill Barr does this 4-page summary, which was absolute BS, that Trump said exonerated me and didn't exonerate him. In fact, it caused such a backlash to Bill Barr that even Robert Mueller sent a letter calling out not saying it was inaccurate, but he did not like the way it was framed. Let's put it that way. And here's one of the worst parts. This July 25th phone call, in it where Donald Trump point blank asked for help of the Ukrainian president to investigate Joe Biden and his son, which was only to help him in the 2020 election. That transcript was given to the Department of Justice. And in very short order, Bill Barr cleared Donald Trump of any wrongdoing, any illegality. First of all, on its face, there's a crime. The knowing and willing violation of Federal Election Commission laws. The idea of soliciting help from a foreign national, if you do it knowingly and willfully, it's a felony. And he did it knowing and willfully because he knows the law now because his son and Mueller talked about it nonstop. So there's Donald Trump doing the same thing he did in 2016. So you've got Bill Barr and Trump, these two buddies, this crime team, the Bonnie of Clyde. You can pick whoever you want to be Clyde and Bonnie in this one, of law enforcement. And look, there could be some innocent explanation. There really could be. I'll be fair. There could be. And you know what? Bill Barr can give us that under oath. And that's what the House Oversight Committee's job is. This might seem, I'm being like picayune or this is some kind of minor thing. It's actually not. It could be a crime, and it's the use of our government for personal use by Donald Trump. And everything Donald Trump has done has been about using the government for himself over and over and over, from profiting to his appointees who are more loyal to him than they are to what the rule of law is or American values, over and over and over. So I want Bill Barr to testify under oath about this. I think this is a big deal. I wrote about it for CNN yesterday. I think this is important. And John Mitchell, who was the Attorney General under Richard Nixon, he went to jail. But he went to jail for work he did after leaving the Attorney General's office. In fact, as AG, it's been reported at the time that he said no to some schemes that were illegal. But once he became the head of Nixon's campaign committee, he didn't feel any obligation to do that. So he said he allowed them and he paid people to go commit crimes and then involved in a cover-up. And that's why John Mitchell went to jail, the former Attorney General of the United States. Bill Barr, apparently, while in office, feels no compulsion whatsoever to do anything but protect Donald Trump. We cannot allow this to be normalized. I call this out because this cannot be normalized. This is not what an Attorney General is supposed to do. And I know we say that things all the time, but what if Obama did it? I'll just put it out there for a second. What if Barack Obama sent Eric Holder to the head of MSNBC in New York, to the guy's house, whoever it was at the time, to complain about media coverage that President Obama was getting as we were in the heat of the 2012 re-election campaign? Think about that for a second. How do you think, and if Obama had slammed MSNBC's coverage over and over in the news, how do you think the right would react to that? They would have had hearings, there's no doubt. They would, of course, call for impeachment. For any reason they could find impeachment, they would have called for impeachment. That's where we are. That's where we are today. We have the Attorney General used as private counsel for Donald Trump at our taxpayer expenses. At the very least, there should be one hearing on this. You bring Bill Barr before the committee and have him testify under oath why he went to Rupert Murdoch's office. And let the American people see it. We're going to have more testimony. We had testimony today behind closed doors. It's classified. Tomorrow, Gordon Sandlin, the ambassador, is going to testify. Apparently, that'll be behind closed doors again. Little by little, these things have to be out in the public. That's the only way you're going to change public opinion on impeachment. New Quinnipiac poll came out today. The % say no. You want to see those numbers move? Show this on TV. Having Donald Trump sending the Attorney General of the United States of America to travel from Washington, D.C. to the home of Rupert Murdoch in New York City to beg and plead and maybe pressure, and that's another crime, pressure Rupert Murdoch for better coverage, to me is part and parcel of this. And we should have a hearing, and we should see this, and the American people should hear Bill Barr answer to that. So that's a topic I wanted to bring attention to, that the media, the New York Times did a great job reporting it. I was really happy that a bunch of media outlets from The Hill wrote about for CNN to try to bring more attention. This cannot be normalized. This, again, is what we're fighting about. We're fighting against using our government for personal benefit. That's what Donald Trump's whole reason for being is. So, look, I'd love to hear from you. You're my guest. We got a lot of, and talk about it with Danny Savalas as well. And when Danny's here, we'll take phone calls as well. He'll give us a legal point of view, especially the officer who killed Miss Jefferson is now, he resigned today. And the question's going to be, what happens legally? Is there any he was about to be fired. Does that impact? I'm sure people have questions. Does that change anything about can he be charged right away or not? Are there less protections now or not? We'll have Danny go through that with everyone. But you're my guest at the top of the hour, 866-997-4748. I'd love to hear from you about Donald Trump using Bill Barr here. And it seems to me, and do you think there should be an investigation into this? Does this merit an investigation? Does this smack of more criminality, of more corruption? Can we allow this to be normalized? I'd love to hear from you, 866-997-4748. Give me a call. I'll be right back.
The Dean Obeidallah Show.
I think Trump clips that they play on the media should come with a health warning saying that if you watch this,